Hello everyone and welcome back. Now that we've seen a quick demonstration of what AI Assistant can do, let's slow things down and start building our projects properly from scratch. In this course, we're not just trying to generate a game as quickly as possible, we're also learning how to work with AI effectively. One of the biggest mistakes people make when using AI tools is treating them like a magic button. They open the assistant and type something like "make me a complete tower defense game" and expect perfect results, which is unreasonable. The problem is that large requests usually create messy outputs and generate systems we don't fully understand and make debugging much harder later. Instead, we're just going to break our game into smaller systems and build it piece by piece. So for our tower defense game, we'll separate the project into sections. We'll create our environment, enemy movement, towers, combat system, waves, UI, and then polish everything afterward. This approach gives us much better control and usually gives AI much better results as well. So let's start by creating our project. I already created mine. I'm using the Unity version 6000.0.67f1. You can use any Unity version above the 6, since they all include the AI Assistant feature. Now, I already have it open. After creating yours, open it real quick. And I assume you already have the AI package installed from last video. And now let's start. So for this course, I'm going to keep things simple. We can focus on systems and workflow instead of spending time setting up complex visuals. Once your project loads, before generating anything with AI, let's organize our project first. So as you can see, I have my organization here, and good organization becomes even more important when working with AI-generated content, because as projects grow bigger, AI may create scripts and assets and files very quickly. So having a clean structure is crucial because it saves a lot of time later. Inside the project window, you need to create a bunch of folders. So first of all, you gotta create the scenes folder, the scripts one. They already come created by default in your Unity blank project, but and also the prefabs one. But we're gonna have to create a bunch of other ones. The first one is materials. So like this. And then we're gonna create an art folder. This is going to contain our UI, sprites, and other stuff that we can use later on. So keeping things organized now will make the rest of the course much easier. Now, before jumping into agent mode, let's briefly talk about the different AI modes available. Agent mode is useful when you want AI to directly perform actions inside of Unity. So this is what we'll use most when creating systems and generating content. And ask mode is useful when you want explanations, code help, or quick answers. Plan mode is, well, it can help break larger ideas into structured tasks based or before implementation. We'll naturally use these throughout the course as situations come up. But for now, instead of generating content immediately, let's use AI to help us think through our project. So, I'll type something like, in the plan mode, create a development plan for a beginner-friendly tower defense game. Notice that we're not asking it to create code, but we're asking it to think first. This is an important habit when using AI. So planning before generating usually gives much better results than jumping directly into implementation. I think we have to update it first. I'm not sure why it's not running yet. So I'm gonna pause this video to try updating it. Alright, so we just got the AI to work by updating it, and as you can see, it created a comprehensive development plan for a beginner-friendly tower defense game, and it gave us a bunch of highlights, including waypoint system, modular combat, grid placement, and a game loop. And it had created a file that we can open up and see a detailed plan for the game that we're going to use to develop it later on. Now we're going to open it real quickly to see how I already have it opened here, and yeah, let's just go through it a little to see what the AI gave us. So it gave us a project overview, which includes the title, high-level concept, players. So as you can see, it has a bunch of overview information, a classical 3D tower defense game focusing on simple mechanics. And we have the reference, we have the art direction, we have everything in the project overview that can define our project. And now for the mechanics. The mechanics, we have like a bunch of simple mechanics that we're going to implement using the AI, which is building. So the player can place towers on a grid-based map using starting gold, which is going to be the currency for our game. Defending, the enemy is going to spawn and follow a predefined path, and the towers automatically shoot the nearest enemy. And we have earning. Earning will be by killing enemies. And of course the iteration, which is the game loop, using the gold to build more towers or upgrading existing ones to survive increasingly difficult waves. Now, the AI might give you different, or it will give you different plans for every prompt that you give it. And this is the plan that I've been given. Now, if you want to follow your own plan, when you type the prompt into the AI, you're free to do so, but for the sake of our course, take the plan that we have in this project and use it for the completion of the project, just to see how we can go from the plan to the full completion of the game. And maybe after we finish the course, try your own plan. Alright? So now we can also continue working or continue reading through it. As you can see, we have the controls, the UI, scripts. We have pretty much everything that we're gonna need to finish the game very, very thoroughly. Now, in the next video, we'll start creating our actual environments and level layouts, and then begin building the foundation of our tower defense game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hello everyone, and welcome back. In the previous video, we used AI Assistant to generate a development plan for our tower defense game. And if we look at the roadmap that AI created for us, we can see that our first phase is called Foundation. This phase focuses on creating the core systems our gameplay depends on. And the very first thing listed here is creating our waypath system. The second thing is creating the enemy movement. So before towers and combat, upgrades or wave systems, we first need enemies that can actually move through our level. So instead of jumping ahead, we're going to follow the plan and build one system at a time. So let's go ahead and open AI Assistant. We're going also to switch to agent mode, and we're going to pick the chat that we created earlier that contains the development plan. So, for this step, I'm going to give it a prompt like create a waypoint path system and an enemy movement script that moves enemies between waypoints. Notice that we're using the same exact terminology from our generated development plan, a waypoint system and enemy movement, with these exact script names. This is another useful workflow tip. So when AI creates a project plan, try following the naming and structure it suggests. So that helps keep things organized and creates consistency across your systems. And now, let's let AI do the work right now and make sure to allow it to create files and use any of the features that it needs to use for the entire conversation so that it works without having to be interrupted every single time. I'm gonna pause the video and come back after it finishes. Alright, so we're back after the AI finished executing. It looks like it gave us a pretty solid starting point, as we now have an enemy path object in our scene with the waypoint path script attached. And if we expand it, we can see that the AI created waypoint objects as children and automatically linked them into the path references. This is actually really nice because it saves us from manually creating references and writing them and wiring everything together. If we inspect the waypoint path script, so we can see that it stores a list of transforms and exposes functions for getting waypoints. It also includes a gizmo system that draws lines between points in the editor. So now we can actually visualize the routes enemies will follow directly in the same view. And here's the route. We can see AI also created a test enemy using a simple cube game object. And that's completely fine. Right now we're focusing on gameplay systems and not visuals. We can always replace these placeholder objects later. And if we inspect the enemy, we can see a box collider attached alongside an enemy movement script. We also have values for move speed and rotation speed already exposed. And the AI even linked our enemy path object automatically into the movement script. So a lot of the setup work was handled for us. Now let's quickly inspect the generated movement script. We can see that the AI is using vector 3 move towards to move the enemy between waypoint positions. And it also added smooth rotation behavior, so the enemy turns towards the next target instead of instantly snapping. This small addition already makes the movement feel much more natural. You can also see the logic for checking when the enemy reaches a waypoint. And once it reaches the end of the path, it destroys itself automatically. So even though this is a relatively small system, AI generated a pretty complete first implementation. And now, let's test it. So when pressing play, our enemy starts at the very first waypoint, moves through all 5 points, rotates naturally, and once it reaches the final destination, it gets removed. And just like that, we've completed the first part of our foundation phase. This may seem simple, but almost every future system depends on this working correctly. Our towers need enemies to target, Our wave system needs enemies to spawn, and the player progression depends on enemies successfully reaching the end of the path. So building this foundation first is incredibly important. In the next video, we'll continue following our roadmap and move into the combat phase where we'll start creating towers and projectile systems. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.